If your phone rings today and the caller sounds calm, professional, and confident, you could lose your money before you even realize you made a mistake. This isn't one of those obvious scams. In fact, most victims say the call felt routine, like something they've dealt with before. And that's exactly why it works. Across the country, bank accounts are being emptied through a new wave of phone scams that move fast, sound legitimate, and hit people at moments when they're distracted, busy, or just trying to do the right thing. Today, I'm going to walk you through how this scam actually works, what happened in a real case, the variations spreading right now, and how to protect yourself before you get that call. Because once this scam reaches the final step, the money is already gone. How it started. It started like a call most people wouldn't think twice about answering. A local number. No spam warning, no red flags. The caller introduced themselves as a fraud prevention specialist. They said they were calling about unusual activity on a bank account. Not aggressive, not rushed, just calm, professional, and reassuring. They referenced a recent charge, not something outrageous but plausible. An amount that made the listener pause and think, "Wait, did I do that?" The caller explained that the bank's automated system flagged the transaction, and they were reaching out to protect the account before anything escalated. So far, everything sounded normal. Then came the verification step. They didn't ask for a full card number. They didn't ask for a PIN. They asked for confirmation. A name, a zip code, a yes or no response. Things most people don't think of as dangerous. As the conversation continued, the caller added urgency. Subtly, they mentioned additional activity pending, another attempt that hadn't gone through yet, a warning that the account could be temporarily locked if action wasn't taken. The goal was simple: keep the victim engaged. At one point, the caller said something that made it all feel official. "I'm going to send you a one-time verification code to confirm it's really you." The phone buzzed. A real code arrived, from the bank's actual number. That's where most people lose the game. Because the scammer wasn't trying to log in before the call. They were doing it during the call. The moment the code was read out loud, the scammer had everything they needed. Within minutes, login credentials were changed. Transfers were initiated. Security alerts were disabled. By the time the call ended, the account was already being drained. And the worst part? The victim thought they had just stopped fraud, when in reality, they had authorized it. This isn't just a phone scam. It's a real-time account takeover. Scammers combine phone spoofing, social engineering, live login attempts, and stolen personal data. They don't rush you into panic. They walk you into compliance. According to consumer protection reports, these scams are growing faster than traditional phishing because people trust phone calls more than emails. Caller ID spoofing is cheap and effective. And banks do send real alerts, which blurs the line. Once a scammer has partial information, often from data breaches, the phone call fills in the gaps. Scam variation number 1. Suspicious transfer pending calls. This version of the scam is designed to make you feel like you're seconds away from losing money, but not panicked enough to hang up. The call usually starts calmly. The caller introduces themselves as a fraud or security specialist and tells you a transfer is pending on your account. Not completed, not failed, pending. That word matters. They'll say things like, "We caught it just in time." "This transfer hasn't finalized yet." Or, "We just need to verify before it's released." Right away, your brain shifts into problem-solving mode. You're not thinking about whether the call is real. You're thinking about stopping the transfer. The scammer then explains there's a short window to act. Not a dramatic countdown. Just enough pressure to make you feel responsible for what happens next. They might mention that the system will auto-process the transfer if it isn't verified, or that the bank's fraud department can't hold it indefinitely. At this point, they ask for verification. Not your full card number, not your PIN. They ask for confirmation. A one-time code, a security prompt. something that feels like it's protecting you. What's really happening is this. While they're talking to you, they're attempting to log into your account. The code you receive is real, but it's not for your protection. The moment you read it out loud, you've handed them the final key. By the time the call ends, the transfer you thought you stopped has already been replaced by several new ones, and the money is gone. Scam variation number 2. Fake bank callback numbers. This version is especially dangerous because it mimics the exact advice banks give to stay safe. The caller tells you there's suspicious activity on your account. Then, to build trust, they say something that sounds responsible. For security reasons, I don't want you to trust this call. Please hang up and call the number on the back of your card. Most people instantly relax. That's the advice everyone has heard before. Here's the trick. The scammer doesn't hang up. They keep the line open, place you on hold, or use call routing techniques that prevent the connection from fully disconnecting. So, when you think you're calling your bank, you're still talking to the scammer. Everything that follows feels legitimate. The new representative answers professionally. They reference the same suspicious activity. They already know your name. That continuity makes it feel real. From there, the process looks exactly like a normal fraud resolution. Verification questions, security codes, reassurances that they're fixing the issue. Victims often don't realize what happened until hours or days later, when transfers have cleared and accounts are drained. Law enforcement and fraud investigators have confirmed this tactic in multiple cases. And it works because it doesn't rely on fear. It relies on trust and familiarity. That's what makes it so effective and so dangerous. Scam variation number 3. Voicemail plus follow-up call combo. This version works because the scam doesn't start with a conversation. It starts with a seed of concern. Victims receive a voicemail that sounds official but vague. This is the fraud department calling about suspicious activity on your account. Please expect a follow-up call. That's it. No bank name, no transaction amount, no instructions, but it does exactly what it's designed to do. It puts the idea of a problem in your head. Minutes later, sometimes less, the phone rings. And now, the call doesn't feel random. It feels expected. Because you're already anticipating bad news, your skepticism drops. You're mentally prepared to fix something, not to question it. The caller references the voicemail immediately. They speak calmly. They don't rush. They explain that the earlier message was a security protocol and that they're calling to resolve the issue before it escalates. By the time verification comes up, it feels routine. The scammer may ask you to confirm activity, or verify identity, or approve a security action. Nothing aggressive, nothing obviously wrong. This combination, vague voicemail followed by a confident callback, has one of the highest success rates among phone scams. Because from the victim's perspective, the scam didn't start with a stranger. It started with a warning. And by the time the money moves, most victims believe they were helping stop fraud, not authorizing it. Scam variation number 4. Business account targeting. This version doesn't target individuals, it targets pressure. Small business owners, bookkeepers, and managers receive calls claiming urgent issues with business accounts. The scammer references things that sound operational: payroll transfers, vendor payments, tax-related holds, ACH reversals. They know these topics trigger immediate concern. If payroll is delayed, employees are affected. If a vendor payment fails, contracts are at risk. If taxes are involved, penalties feel imminent. The caller positions themselves as someone trying to prevent damage. They'll say a transaction was flagged and needs confirmation, or that a payment is being paused for security reasons, or that funds are being held until verification is completed. Because business accounts process higher volumes and larger amounts, the losses escalate fast. 5-figure losses are common, 6 figures are not rare. And here's the most dangerous part. Once a business owner or authorized user verifies access, even unknowingly, banks are far less likely to reverse the transactions. From the bank's perspective, the credentials were used correctly. Scammers exploit that policy gap. They don't steal money violently. They walk it out through the front door, with permission that was never meant to be given. By the time the fraud is detected, the funds are already gone, and recovery becomes an uphill battle. Why this scam works so well? Because it exploits trust in institutions, familiar processes, and our instinct to fix problems quickly. Scammers don't need your PIN anymore. They need your cooperation, and they're very good at getting it. You'll be surprised. This isn't the only phone scam exploding right now. When I started researching this scam, one thing became very clear. This isn't isolated. Phone-based fraud is evolving fast, and banks, regulators, and victims are reporting multiple variations spreading at the same time. Here are some of the most common ones you need to watch for. This scam doesn't threaten to steal your money right away. It threatens to take away access. Victims receive a call claiming their bank account is about to be restricted, limited, or temporarily frozen due to suspicious activity or a security review. The wording is deliberate. Scammers know that the fear of losing access to your own money is often stronger than the fear of losing a specific amount. The caller explains that the restriction hasn't happened yet, but it will, unless a verification is completed immediately. That creates urgency without panic. They reassure the victim that this is a routine process and that they're calling to help prevent inconvenience. No raised voices, no pressure tactics, at least at first. Once the victim agrees to verify, the steps sound reasonable. Confirm recent activity. Approve a security check. Read a one-time code. But that code isn't protecting the account. It's handing control to the scammer. Once access is secured, the restriction threat disappears, because the scammer no longer needs it. Behind the scenes, account details are changed, alerts are disabled, and transfers begin. Victims often don't realize what happened until they try to log in later and find themselves locked out of their own account. Phone scam. Type number 2. Payment app security calls. These scams impersonate support teams from payment apps like Zelle, Venmo, or Cash App. The caller claims there's an issue with a recent transfer. They may say a payment was unauthorized, or that an account is temporarily locked, or that a reversal is pending and needs confirmation. The story changes, but the goal stays the same. They want access. Payment apps are perfect targets because transactions move instantly and reversals are rare. The caller sounds knowledgeable. They reference app features. They use correct terminology. Victims are guided step by step through what they believe is a security process. In reality, they're approving real transfers. Once access is granted, the money disappears immediately, often in seconds. And because the transaction was authorized, recovery becomes extremely difficult. Banks and consumer protection agencies warn that payment app scams are among the fastest-growing fraud categories. The speed that makes these apps convenient is the same speed scammers exploit. By the time the victims realize something is wrong, the funds are already gone, and the trail has gone cold. Phone scam. Type number 3. Two-step authentication bait. This version of the scam is especially dangerous because it uses real security systems against the victim. Scammers don't guess passwords, they don't break in with brute force. Instead, they trigger legitimate two-step authentication codes by attempting a real login or password reset on the victim's account. Seconds later, the victim receives a genuine security code from their bank, email provider, or payment app. That's when the phone call comes in. The scammer says something like, "You may receive a one-time verification code. This is just to confirm we're speaking with the account holder." Because the code is real, everything feels legitimate. The victim isn't being asked for a password. They're not being asked for card details. They're being asked to confirm. That distinction matters, psychologically. Once the code is shared, the scammer completes the login, resets credentials, and locks the victim out. From the victim's perspective, it feels like they followed proper security steps. From the bank's perspective, the account was accessed using valid credentials. That makes recovery slower and disputes harder. Security experts warn this scam is rising sharply because two-factor authentication has trained people to expect codes, and scammers are exploiting that familiarity. A simple rule applies here. No legitimate company will ever ask you to read a security code out loud. Phone scam. Type number 4. Elder targeting variants. These scams are slower, calmer, and far more deliberate. When scammers target older adults, they change tactics completely. There's no rush, no aggressive pressure, no obvious red flags. The caller may spend 20, 30, even 45 minutes building rapport. They speak respectfully. They explain things repeatedly. They offer reassurance. Often, they impersonate banks, Medicare, Social Security, or investment firms. The goal isn't speed, it's trust. Scammers understand that many older victims value politeness and authority. They exploit that. Once trust is established, the requests begin. Confirm an account, verify a transfer, approve a security change. Losses in these cases are often devastating, not just financially, but emotionally. Victims may lose life savings, retirement funds, emergency reserves, and many don't report it immediately, out of embarrassment or confusion. Law enforcement agencies consistently report elder fraud as one of the highest loss categories per victim. The most dangerous part is how normal these calls feel. No yelling, no threats. Just a conversation that slowly hands control to the wrong person. That's what makes this scam so effective and so hard to stop. How to avoid getting trapped. Here's the most important rule to remember, and it changes everything. Banks do not need your help to protect your account. If there is real fraud, they already have systems in place to stop it. They do not need verification codes, they do not need passwords, and they do not need you to stay on the phone. If someone calls you claiming to be from your bank or a payment app, follow this process every time. Do not share security codes. Do not confirm login details. Do not trust caller ID, names, or how official they sound. Hang up. Wait at least 5 minutes. This matters because some scammers keep the line open or manipulate call routing. Then, contact your bank using only the number printed on the back of your card or the official mobile banking app. Never use a number they give you. Ever. Beyond that, there are a few protective steps that dramatically reduce risk. Enable real-time transaction alerts so you see activity instantly. Turn on account lockdown or withdrawal limits where available. Use call screening to send unknown callers to voicemail. And, most importantly, treat urgency as a warning sign, not a reason to comply. If a call feels rushed, pressured, or time-sensitive, it's not designed to help you. It's designed to trap you. This scam isn't about being careless. It's about being human. Smart people fall for this every day because the scam is designed to feel normal. The best defense isn't fear. It's awareness. If this video helped you understand how these scams work, share it with someone you care about, especially someone who answers unknown calls. And if you want more breakdowns like this, real scams, real tactics, real protection, make sure you're subscribed, stay alert, stay informed. And don't let a phone call decide your financial future.